Hi everyone! So we are back for another episode of Instagram Live to interview one of our top 100 today. So let's just give it a minute for everyone else to join in. So before we go into our conversation, let me just introduce our special guest today. His name is Rui Caria. He's our representative from Portugal. And if you have not checked out his story, he has submitted an amazing series about the caretaker and also this old lady who was 105 years old. So do check out the website if you don't know where to find it. It's on the link on our bio. So Rui Caria is our guest today. So Rui, I need you to request to join the Instagram live so I can add you in. So those who are new to our platform, this is the Other 100. My name is Jacqueline. I am the project manager for this nonprofit photojournalism project where we feature stories from all over the world. And right now we are on our 4th edition. It's called The Other 100 Healers, where we feature ordinary people who are serving their community during this pandemic. So let me just request for Rui to join us. Right. So if you're wondering, this project is also published. Hi!
Hello, good morning.
Hi, Rui!
Can you hear me?
Yes, loud and clear. What about
Thank
you?
I'm okay. I can hear you loud and clear too.
I see. So right now you're in Portugal, right?
Yes, I'm in Portugal, but in a different time zone that you think, because you think it's 8 a.m. now, and it's 7
Oh,
o'clock in the morning. So it's
oh
not
dear.
even it's not even daylight. So it's almost there. We are almost there. I'm living in an archipelago with 9 islands, beautiful islands. I live in one of those islands. So it's Terceira
I see.
Island, the Azores archipelago. It's a
I see.
beautiful
I
place.
see. Okay. That's our mistake. We thought you will be following the general Portugal time zone. So sorry to wake you up, but
No problem, no
also very,
problem.
very grateful that you are willing to spend some time with me here.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to
So
be here.
let me get straight into it. The story you submitted was very moving. A lot of people wrote to us that they love it. It's really a reflection of the older generation and the new generation who are fighting different wars, right?
Yeah,
So right
yeah.
now, yeah, and when we looked into your profile, we were very, very fascinated by your work. Very grand landscapes, very beautiful pictures. Why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself? How did you find your way into photography, and what is your career growth from there?
Well, I'm getting old now, and I start as a young guy. I love to see cameras and stuff and the equipment, and that was fascinating every time I see a camera. I saw a camera. So um, I started in television, really, actually, but not first. I start to make some little small commercial films and corporate films with a friend. Everybody starts with a friend in 1989, I think. And then with the school and all that stuff, I start to leave the school to go filming, and then I find myself working in television in '93, something like that. So for a national television, I'm a reporter now. I'm a journalist. So starting in photography, it's not a whole thing for me. It's I started in photography maybe 10 years ago, 12 years ago maybe, because of the cameras. Cameras took me to photography because of their capacity to film, the ability of filming with photographic cameras. So that's why I started in photo. It was not an accidental beginning, but it's like more discovering a new way of communicate. Of course, I took some photographs, a lot of photographs with the film and all that stuff, but it's not cheap at that time to do photography, because the development of the films are it's not easy to pay. So
Do
the
you
business
remember
of
how you managed to save up that amount of money to buy your first camera?
I never had a camera. I took my whole brother cameras. Um, I think it was a Nikon, the first camera. I can't remember the model, but my brother was fascinated by Nikon, and I know they have one or two cameras, and I borrowed one from him, and I can't remember how I save money, because I start to do little things here and there to get some money. And but well, I have not that passion for photography in the beginning. I don't know if I have it now, because uh, I think we can have some passions for people, and maybe for a cat or a dog. But photography for me, it's a way of communicate. It's a language
Mm.
that almost everybody understands, because it's visual. It's very easy to understand. Uh, and it's a way of communicate mainly for me. I can see it even like a job, because I never worked in my life, because when you like what you are doing, you are not working. So by that principle, it's a way of being, it's a way of living. It's nice if you earn some money with that, with the visual stuff, with the videos, with the photography. It's not easy now to get some money from that kind of work. But well,
That's a
it's
Rui, that's a very interesting point that you raised right now. That photography is a form of expression for you to communicate. But having gone from film to photography, what is that? Because usually most people transition from photography to video, right, to filmmaking. But yours is the other way around. So what is it about photography as compared to film that attracted you, and you developed a passion following that? And what is the difference that you find? Does it help you express better in one form?
I can make a joke with that, because video cameras are like this, and photography cameras are like this. So I'm getting old. I'm getting tired of having so much stuff with me. I'm joking with that, but it's the language have some similarities, but it's not the same thing. Filming and photographing, and you are right. Almost everybody that I know, the transition it's the other way around. So I did it in in a certain way from video to photography. I don't know. I never thought about that actually, because everything for me it's communicate. If I need to communicate with a video, I make a video. If I do it in photography, maybe it's more easy to photograph. Don't get me
Mm,
wrong, it's not easy to photograph properly, but it's more easy than the video, even because of the hardware, if you want.
mm,
I don't even use a flash. I did never I don't have a flash, so I photograph with natural light. It's in television we need some lights
yeah.
to in the interviews and all that stuff, but when you are on the field and doing hard news, day news, you are. I'm using just a camera, because nowadays cameras are can see better than us. So
Mm,
you don't actually need light, because when I start in video with tube cameras, not even exist the concept of CCD. I start with a tube camera. It's like a valve
Mm.
exists that gathers the light. It was very hard to film at night. You
I'm
need
sure you
a
have a lot
lot,
of
a
wasted
lot.
film.
Yeah. So I start with that. Now we have telephones that can make us communicate 1,000 miles in different time zones. So this is very nice. This kind of evolution. It's very nice to watch it, but I never put the things in a way of transition because I still doing the communicate with video and photography. Uh, it depends on the work you are doing, the
I
way
see.
you want to show your message.
Is there a very clear distinction to you when you would choose to use to communicate through film, or when is you think that photography is more suitable? Is there a very clear distinction, or is it simply just a sense that you have?
No, it's very clear. If I told you that more and more, I'm losing I don't want to film for the rest of my life because I don't know if it's gonna happen with photography. I I can tell you that. I can't tell you that now, but uh, I don't want to film a lot now because of all the stuff that you need. Because when you get a small camera like me, you can do it everything. You can do everything with it, and you can
Mm.
go to take a coffee and get your camera. I don't used to get a big video camera when I go to the coffee, and in
Mm.
that way, from home to somewhere, someplace you are going, you can take maybe 3 or 4 photographs uh, of things that if you get a video camera, you can film that too, but it's not comfortable. It requires a lot of stuff. It's sure you can do everything with an iPhone or with a telephone or small cameras that are filming very good and with a great quality. But when you are doing proper video with a budget, a big budget, and you need to develop good material, you need more stuff, more lights, tripods, all that stuff.
I see.
Photography, it's more easy in that way, and it's magical because when you are filming, you are getting more the reality of things. I don't talk about cinema. I'm talking about news. Uh, the video, it's
Capturing the
more,
moment.
yeah, capturing video. It's real. It's more like reality. All the things are moving, and photography. When you photograph, you are not seeing the photograph that you took because it's impossible for our eyes to stop the time. So, uh, and that I think that is the big secret
The beauty.
with the beauty and the fantasy of photography. It's that you can slice the time in a way that it's not possible in with everything that you know. Just
Yeah,
photography is doing
I
that.
do agree on that, where capturing a moment so powerful and perpetuating that, keeping that forever, that one moment that's very powerful in one image is something that probably a video or film that it can't do, because there's so many distractions,
Yeah,
things are moving, and photography also really calls for that sense that that if you wait long enough, this is the magic
yeah,
is going to happen
yeah,
sometime here,
yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah. That thing, it's not when I told you that photography it's more easy than video. I'm not talking about that part because that is the difficult part of photography, to get the right thing at the right moment. I think sometimes it's more lucky than other thing because, and we can say a lot of beautiful things about decisive moments and all that stuff, but sometimes you point your camera to a thing that is there was there forever, and it's going to be there after you photograph it, but you see different things in there. That is beautiful, because if you can capture a moment that you get it on your frame, and you know that it's gone forever, you can't think about that thing in video. It just not allow you to think in that way. That's why photography, it's more reflective. It's more, you can see things with a critical view. Video, it's you can't do that on video. I can't do that on video.
I see. And I'm also quite curious that how did you make the transition from behind the camera? Right now you're a journalist as well, and it seems like you're able to adapt to many different fields, like first in film and then photography, photojournalism, and now you're a journalist. How did that happen from being the one capturing images, capturing visuals, to now writing the story as well? And did you find that it completes your storytelling ability as well, having you know, transition into a journalist role?
I don't know if I'm a good journalist as well, or if I write the. I don't know, but when I want to do something, I go for it, and it's communicate for me. It's I can see why people separate photography from writing, because if you are willing to communicate, if you want to say something, you have different kind of mechanical stuff to do with cameras. A pen, it's like a camera. It's more, it's like a camera. If you want to communicate,
Right.
it's
just a tool for you.
Yeah, it's those are tools. I don't know if I'm good in every one of that, or if I'm okay with that. But the part of writing, I have a set of stories on the television site where I work for. They get me a special place in the site where I can put my stories. I call it 28mm stories, because I do it with a 28mm lens, and it's a television site with a place for photography. It's very curious when they invite me to do that, and I write what I want there.
It's like your own column.
Yeah, I go on it's like a column. I go on the street, I see something, I see a guy doing something, and go to him, and can I make a story of your life, of what are you doing here? Who are you? Regular people doing regular stuff, and sometimes we get great, because I think everybody has stories to tell. I don't know what I did. I have a lot of stories there with people that I have like friends now, because sometimes I do it in the Azores, in the islands. I do it in the mainland. If I go to India, I can do a story there. I did a story of the Oli Fest in Mathura.
That sounds
in India.
great. You could you share the link with me, and I will share it on Insta story for everyone to go check it out. You write in Spanish, right?
No, in Portuguese. In
Portuguese, sorry, in Portuguese. Right.
It's
so
I know it's not easy for you, the Portuguese.
At least we have some pictures to look at.
It sounds like Russian, I think. Everybody says that, but I don't know. Yeah, I can share it in the end of our conversation.
Fantastic.
But it's nice because I write what I want and the way I want. It's more like feature writing than journalism. So it's like telling a story. Sometimes I decide if I take part on the story or I'm just an observer. So it's like an elastic thing for me. I can do whatever I want. Of course, there are rules for everything. You have to know how to write things in a way, but they don't tell me to do this or that. I just do what I
We have
want
more
there.
freedom.
Yeah, it's very nice that way because you have time to think on what you are doing. You expose the thing that you are exposing the way you want. So it's a good experience for me.
That's really good, Rui, because what I picked up from what you just said is that the desire to communicate is not bound by the tool that you
No,
first pick up, and
no.
communication is communication. It doesn't matter through film, through photography, through writing, so long as you have the desire to communicate, to say something, um, whatever tools, whatever format, it's fine. So the lessons here for everyone is that don't restrict yourself to one format. If you like to say something, you like to communicate, explore all different types of tools out there. Well, Rui, who knows? The next time I see you, you might be a painter.
No, I don't think I have. I think you have to have some skills to the things, mechanical skills if you want, but uh, that is and the passion. Sometimes it's dangerous for the process because uh, when you have passion, you just can see like this. And maybe I'm gonna give you an example. If I my passion for photography in the beginning uh, stood me to think that I just need to photograph. I don't need to see photographs. I don't need to read about photography. Well, I'm the best guy in my street doing photography. Wow. So when you leave the camera and start reading and start having a view of a critical view of things, not reacting just, but reflecting, reading, understanding photography, the process from the beginning, the story of photography. It's amazing. So when you read all that stuff, you have you can do one of two things, or you stay in the photography or you leave photography because when I say it's easy to photograph, it's easy for me. I can't tell you this in another way because it's easy for me, but it's not easy photography because it's easy because I like to read, I like to understand things, I like to maybe dismount a camera to understand how it works. It's very important. Don't dismount your cameras because
Important to
uh,
get curious.
yeah, but the curiosity it's more important than the passion because curiosity take you to understand everything and the passion maybe take you just to take photographs, not understanding what you are doing,
Right.
how you are doing that way, that things. There are many different things to explore. There are many techniques. The techniques are important, but the reflection about the message, the concept, it's more important in photography. That's why
Right.
you see great work in photography with film cameras, with hold cameras, with small sensor cameras, because the tool it's not that that it's not important at all.
Yeah, okay, great. Because um, you are unafraid to be a beginner all over again when you pick up something new, learning about how things work. So a lot of people find it very hard to transition into like, oh, I only do photography. If I want to go right, that's just too much work, too much to
People,
learn, too much to start from the
yeah,
beginning,
yeah, it's very
right? And you
difficult
are
because
not afraid of starting beginning.
and that is a process. I think that there are some confusion in uh, between taking photographs and showing photographs.
Hmm?
I think
Show me a
I think
photograph.
yeah, I think people want to show photographs in some way on Instagram, on the Facebook, on all the media, the social media that they have. They want to show things. It's like a vertigo. Everything it's so quick that you don't have time to think. You don't have time
Mm,
to do a great job because you want to show things. I love to photograph. Maybe I love to show photographs. it's a little bit different. I think it's different concepts that people make some confusion with that. Everything is so quick now. When I start thinking, when I start my adult life, we don't have nothing to explore. There was no internet. The books are in English. We didn't know how to read in English or speak in English. I'm getting there now, trying to speak,
You're
to
doing
say
great.
something. I don't know. I doubt about it. But if you understand by the context, it's not bad. So there was nothing when we start doing things. When I start doing things, I start from the scratch from trying to understand with friends how they do things in video mostly, and the color temperature. It's it's a thing that is there for since there are cameras, but you don't understand the concept. You know that the words are there, color, temperature. What is this? About the temperature as a color? Well, now I think I understand the color temperature because it's important for your job. In film photography, you don't care about color temperature because it's a film, it's organic stuff, it's chemical stuff. So you don't, I don't even call it analogic photography. I call it film photography because if you want, digital photography is analog photography too, because the light, it's an analog process until it gets the sensor. So if you want everything, it's analog. The digital part, it's after that process. So it's like recording things. But the process by default, it's analogic. So I don't call it analog photography. I call it film or argentic photography because argent, it's the process of develop films. It's nice if you know this kind of little small things that are can make your way on this, can make you grow up when you are trying to do photographies with a digital camera. It's nice if you know the process of a film camera because they are different, but they are not so different because the result, it's almost the same. It's an image.
It's very rarely like because of Instagram, because of social media, more and more people are taking pictures. It's more common to take videos as well. But like you said, people are so focused on the showing, but they didn't take time to go into the details on how even the mechanism behind the camera, like you mentioned. I doubt a lot of us know how that works. So long as it shoots a picture that I can show everyone, I think that's the job. That's the job. It's supposed to do that. I don't need to spend more time on it. So as opposed to that, what you're telling us is that pay more attention to the act, the doing, rather than being a very you can't wait to show people what you've done.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's something that for all you listeners out there, that's something really to remember. The quality of your work takes time. You have to give it time and give it attention rather than you rush it.
Yeah, if you see photography forums on the internet, everybody's talking about the same thing, about f-stops, about aperture, about follow the bouquet. The book, it's a beautiful word to describe a beautiful thing. The depth of field. So everybody's talking about mechanic stuff in photography. It's like they are mechanics talking about parts, about things. But you miss a lot. Of course, I'm generalized because there are on the internet sites there are places when you can discuss photography, like the concept and the message and all that stuff. But mostly you are talking about mechanical stuff, about the quality of the glass of your lenses, the detail. It seems to be maybe the most important thing, and then the pixels. maybe the detail, because if you have a more detailed lens, you can do a beautiful. It's not that true. I work with a lens with 55 years old and with a lot of aberration and a lot of defects, but they are great because I don't know why, because it's not the equipment that matters on photography. It's what you
Wait,
do with it.
say that again. How long has that lens been with you?
No, no, it's not with me because I'm not that old. But I have one lens. I have some lenses. I don't have no. It's in
So
my
you
bag.
you would
But I have lenses with a. I have one Leica with a Helmerit. I think it's 56 years old. I can show you.
wow.
I have it here. Excuse me. It's a. It's like a. See, it's a strange
Oh, that's
object.
very small.
Yeah, it's small. It's a 90 millimeters. Here we are talking about the equipment again. It's only glass. Yeah, it's only glass.
But but if it's
That
if you are able to use it for that long, you know, it just a lot of people are so into buying new gears.
yeah, I stopped to buy equipment because uh, talking about cameras, my first real great camera was a Nikon. We call it Nikon here. It's like it was a D4. It's dead now. Uh, but then I start to stripe things off the camera. To their cameras have a lot of thousands of menus that you never gonna use. I know them all because I like to read manuals to understand the equipment. But when you go to the manual, you start to see that you don't even need that stuff. It just is there, but you're never gonna use it. And then I start to buy these small cameras, these Leicas. See, it's it's my main camera. It's what I like to do, to use because this is very minimal. I call it the
It's light, easy to carry.
yeah, three button cameras. I can do everything with this. And my friends are telling, why are you buying that stuff? Because that is nothing to do with those cameras because they have just three buttons. No, they are nice because they have three buttons. Because I'm striped things down. I'm taking off the things that I don't want in photography. It's like just three things, as you know. It's sensibility, it's aperture, and it's speed. This is photography. All this,
Mm,
these cameras have two pages menus. That is nice because you don't have time to spend with that kind of mechanical stuff. You just take
it's
photographs.
distraction.
Yeah, it's just distraction. I don't. This is manual focus, so you have to know how to focus. That is very nice because a camera, it works. Cameras know more than you. Cameras photograph better than us. So
Hmm.
they know how to focus properly, but they don't guess what you are willing to photograph to see. With a manual focus camera, you can go to the things that you want to focus. This is
Right.
you can say that cameras now have a sensor that look at the things that you are want to get in focus, and it's going to be there. It's going to be great. Yes, there are cameras like that. You This is a camera to, I call it in a joke, I like to lose photographs with these cameras. It's a camera to lose It's not bad to lose photographs because you understand how to deal with frustration, and that
Right.
moment will.
That's great actually, Rui, because it goes against the culture of people constantly chasing new gears, new cameras, getting lost in the new
People
fancy.
want perfection, technical perfection in
Right.
photography.
And there's no perfection.
No, because when you have a chirurgical photography, technically speaking, a perfect thing, it's so perfect that I think a photography must be perfect technically if a photography has nothing to say. If you have a photography with some message, some thing in there, you don't really need that that perfection, because it works in the same. It works better, because if a photography wants to say something, the message go regardless of the quality, regardless of
Right.
maybe not the quality, but because quality it's many things, but because of the perfect technical part.
And
So
would you say that it's the intention behind why
it's
you
always
took that picture?
it's always the intent. I used to say that the intention to photograph, it's so much important than sometimes to photograph itself, because sometimes I go in my car thinking, wow, now maybe I want to see the sunset. People don't see the sunset. People photograph the sunset. It's a very different thing. But sometimes I going to photograph the sunset here in the island, because you have great green fields with cows and great views. It's a beautiful place here if you like landscape photography. And sometimes I need to photograph landscapes. I don't know why, because for me landscape photography, it's always like an experimental stuff. It's like experimental photography, and it's a great school to photograph that kind of landscape. So but sometimes I need that, and I go with my car. I go around the island, and then I return home without even took the camera off the car, because there was nothing to see on that day. And but I'm happy the same way, because I know how to photograph. The intention of photograph, it's amazing, because sometimes you don't go anywhere with that, but you don't take photographs, but because maybe you go around the island and you are thinking about photography, and that is nice. You don't even
Oh,
need to.
even though there's nothing to photograph, you went around the island, there's nothing, there's
It's
no
okay.
uh there's no harvest, that's totally fine.
It's fine, because you are looking for something that you didn't get that day, and you have the feeling that you will get it on other day. So it's the intention. It's very important. I used to say, if
Mm.
you are, I gave classes about photography and the image, and I interviewed some students, and the last question I made was, are you willing to left your dinner for a photograph? Oh, I love photograph, but I love food too. So you have in this kind of job, in this activity, you have to put it above all the stuff, because the normal stuff, normal people going home 5 o'clock p.m. Maybe that's the hour I leave my house to photograph. So, or to find something, to discover something, by at night, at dawn. So you don't have to be different, but you have to have some intention to the things. Some You have to lose something to make other things.
Right, right. So it's not like how you see everyone. I mean, you live in the island, so I'm sure you see a lot of tourists. It's just snap, 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 snap. No
Yeah.
intention behind it.
No,
You're
just
not
show
sure what
photographs.
yeah, the pictures don't even feel special to you. So I'm sure every pictures you show online or the ones you took um have very special memories behind them.
Some most I want to most of them, but I made my mistakes too. When we are criticizing all these processes of social networks, of people showing photographs, sometimes I do the same thing, because I have to slow down. I have to think. Let's think again about what I'm doing here, and and you slow down and you restart, because it's easy to criticize. It's easy to say that people love to talk about mechanical stuff in photography, but sometimes I'm showing cameras to you, I'm showing lenses to you. Sometimes we go on that because it's easy to talk about, and maybe it's important to talk about everything, but I think it's not the most important, the technical part in photography.
Right. It's priorities and balance.
And you see beautiful photographs on the Instagram, but photographs don't even to be beautiful on that way, on the visual and the graphical way. So the photography must be beautiful because it's telling something beautiful. And the concept of beauty, it's obviously it's different for many people, but there are concepts that are the same. So Instagram needs some kind of images to work, to get engagement, and that kind of images that Instagram needs, I don't need. So like, and it's very difficult. You put on Instagram things that you know that it's not maybe engaging because don't have that orange teal color that people love on Instagram. But it's nice if you can start to put the things that you believe on, that you want to show really, because it's your kind of view, and you have some people starting to watching your work. You don't need that thousands of followers. You just need maybe some followers that love your work and that follows you.
Right.
It's
not about quantity.
Yeah,
it's about the quantity.
It's not, because you can compete on this kind of networks. It's and I think I like to participate in contests, photography contests, because in a way it's nice to show you the way you are doing in photography. If you have recognition of your work, maybe there are many people saying the same thing about your work. Maybe you are in a nice way. It depends on the people that talks about your work too, of
right.
course. But
it's easy to trap yourself in an echo chamber.
Yeah, sure. Because if you have people that treats serious photography, that deals with serious photography, you have maybe a great feedback, an honest feedback about your work. That is important. And in many serious contests of photography contests, you have people like the other hand. I don't know if you run if that thing that I won was a contest, because I knew your site, I knew the other 100, and I follow you, and it's nice because you are not working for the masses. You are working for people that cares about your attitude. So that is nice because you are doing the right thing, and that will become. Yeah, you are doing the right thing. You are showing important things, and you are a witness of important things. And the social networks are really great. But they have that dangerous part that
it is. I think
it's a vertigo.
It is difficult to get even our project out there amidst all this other noises, very commercially driven, but it is the most popular platform. That's how we found you. We found many of the photographers as well. But thank you for that, because it hasn't been easy running this project, especially funding is very tight, and photographers themselves, we understand that they can't go out, they are under lockdown, and they are not making enough for their living as well. That's why whoever that supports us during this edition is extremely precious. And like you said, we are not exactly a photography contest. We are not competing on photographic brilliance. It is the story, and it is what you say through the photo essay that comes through, whether it represents your region, your country, or you know, it gives us a very unique lens into people or types of occupations that nobody talks about but are still very important to society. So like the one you sent us was great. We love it. And for those of you who have not browsed Rui's website or his Instagram, you have to check it out because I was blown away. Truly a master at what he does, and like the sharing he had. If you just join in, I encourage you to watch the replay of this episode. There's a lot of nuggets of wisdom that Rui has shared with us. And thank you so much for spending your time with me. I know we promised you it's a 30 minutes interview, but I think it was just flowing so well, and
I'm
everyone just
sorry.
sharing.
Yeah, we start talking and we never stop. When you are talking about photography, it's very difficult to stop. Thank you for your time.
Yes, yes.
Thank you for
And
your
if you
invitation. It was an honor to be here with you.
thank you so much for your support. And if you do visit Asia and drop by Kuala Lumpur or Hong Kong, do let us know.
Yeah.
Maybe we can go out and have a coffee.
Now it's not, maybe, I don't know when we're gonna start to travel again, but I was in Japan, I was in Thailand, I was in Singapore. Me and my wife, we are traveling a lot, but now we are stopped. We are stuck, like everybody in the world. So we hope this goes away quickly for us to have a normal life, because the new normal, it's not very good. It's not.
It's not.
It's not
We're
a
all
good
stuck
way
at
to
home.
be. Yeah, but we'll see. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Again.
Thank you very much for joining us, Rui. And for the rest of you, thank you for tuning in, and catch us for the next episode next week. See you. Take care.
Bye bye.
Bye.